I am a massive Sonic fan, and whilst it's true that I like Sonic, I'm not exactly a Sonic fan. The people who think Sonic is the best character are probably the same people that pick Mario in Mario Kart, actual psychopath paedophiles. They recently announced the Year of Shadow, so I thought I'd take the chance to talk about said sexy black beast. But like all fans of pointless shit, I'm a big believer in picking and choosing parts of something you like and disregard the rest because just get in the bin. What I mean is I love Shadow, but my god, Sega has tried their hardest to dilute his character into something completely foreign from his original appearances. There are parts I love about him and parts I absolutely can't stand. Like, why did they make him a girl boss? Who asked for that? So today I'd like to do an analysis of Shadow's character and his importance to the Sonic brand. We'll talk about where he thrived and where he dived in today's analysis. So please give us a like and subscribe if you find this video entertaining. Helps me know what kind of content you guys like to watch. We'll see Shadow's evolution as he delves from dork to dark to a f***ing dick. Shadow was a dork. That's a weird word choice, I know, but dork is defined as a contemptible, socially inept person. So this can make sense, we first need to talk about his origins and why that matters when talking about his Bazinga era. First appearing in Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow was designed to be the rival of Sonic, acting as his physical and moral foil, but also your foil too. Bazinga, let me explain. Take a look at his design compared to Sonic's. What a masterful blend of both similarity and contrast at the same time, able to convince someone looking at the two for the first time that they are rivals of one another, a reflection or a shadow of the other. Either that or it was some Tumblr artist OC for a black coded Sonic.
Disgusting black creatures, get out of my sight.
So we've got Sonic's smooth, sleek, bright design with that beaming shit-eating grin. Compare that to Shadow's dark, jagged, evilish design that bears similarities to Sonic's, but conveying conflicting tones and feelings through those slight varying features. All of this is important because it's both a surface level indication as to Shadow's character dynamic with Sonic, but also exists to serve as a foil to the player who expects him to just be a surface level antagonist. Shadow's story is not surface level by any means. I'd say he has more lore than every single Sonic character in the series combined, even more than Sonic himself. Keeping things spoiler free-ish. Shadow was created in the past to be the ultimate life form, able to cure all illness and protect humanity. He lost all of the people dear to him in a way that's literally got the Sonic fandom on the edge of their seats whether they can pull it off in the next Sonic movie without it getting censored. And so he was tricked by Eggman into helping take over the world and eventually remembered his promise to the people he loved to protect the world, and he's become an anti-hero, helping the main cast, albeit through sometimes immoral means. The definition of an anti-hero. So yeah, Shadow is a big fat dork, and this is the version of Shadow that I can appreciate the most. He's naive, he's immature, he doesn't know who he properly is yet. I'm pretty sure if we don't count the years he was frozen, he was probably like 2 years old in Adventure 2. Imagine coming into the world and instantly being told you're going to save an entire civilization of people. Then you get everything you love destroyed in front of your own eyes, and you have the power to react to that any way you want because no one can physically stop you. Over the course of the story, we gradually learn about Shadow and learn his past, but by gradually easing us in, we get a very clear picture that Shadow is no antagonist. He's basically just a little goober who's grieving, who's lashing out because he doesn't understand enough about the situation he's been forced into. At the time the game released, there was not a lot of children's media that would dare to tell such a mature and somewhat introspective story about grief, morality, and responsibility. Before this, Sonic was just a silly kids game with the Hedgehog that'd go fast. But I just find it so fascinating that this game would steer Sonic in a crazy direction that would dictate the crazy tone of the franchise, for a bit at least, all thanks to one side character. Diverging a bit, Shadow's Dork Era isn't just confined to this one game. We get to see a lot of him in Sonic Heroes, his own spin-off game, and his appearances in the Archie comics have some great character moments too. In Sonic Heroes, we see him learn what it means to find people he cares about. Those friends being a killer robot and flying tits, but he's trying nonetheless. I mean, aren't we all? He acts all dorky and distant, which is where people mistake him for being edgy and brooding. But this isn't just surface level. We slowly see him rely on these new friends and form what we know as Team Dark, an inseparable trio that carry on to the present day game. In his spin-off game, we see his naivety in full throttle as he searches for the truth about his past and purpose, trying to see his situation from every angle, one of those angles being him absolutely skull Sonic and Eggman in the same game, but well, he's trying. Even in the Archie Sonic comics, we see him trying to understand his own morals and sense of purpose, interacting with the other characters, often standing in their way if it meant protecting his responsibilities to protect the Earth. We constantly see him show regret and confusion as he feels the need to justify himself to the other characters, as if subconsciously knowing there are some flaws in his judgment. Overall, Shadow's early characterization was masterful, as it opened the doors for Sonic games to tell much more mature stories, despite its light-hearted roots. Sega took what could have just been an easy villain and and turned the character into a fan favourite due to his depth and likeable personality, due to him being socially inept dork, he was actually deserving of being liked as we see the real him. In fact, he's not an anti-hero, he's an anti-social hero, trying his very best despite his naive and dorky nature when it comes to his relationships, and how he tackles new situations. Shadow's characterization took a slight shift from here on out, an interesting one to say the least, but it actually makes a lot of sense when thinking about how a character like this might naturally evolve. Shadow has a dark colour design, he has a dark backstory, and is a member of Team Dark. The Sonic timeline and canon, I guess, is very retarded, but I'm going to just say his Dark Era spans the events of Sonic 06, Sonic Chronicles, Black Knight, and any other spin-off games around this time, I guess. Again, I'm a very big cherry picker when it comes to media, so I feel very strongly about that statement when it comes to Sonic 06. Everything other than the gameplay of this game is outstanding, and Shadow's characterization is no exception. In this game you do get to play Shadow as one of the protagonists, and I think it has yet another instance of Shadow's story being utilised to tell a mature and introspective story. So, a character that was once a socially inept crayon scoffer, how would a character like that evolve? Well, by massive doses of copium. Shadow in this era was portrayed as more stoic, calm and confident. After all this development, he's finally found ways to move on and use his power for the sake of the people he cares about now. Hell, this man is so at peace with his own trauma that he's willing to work with the military who brought him all this pain because he knows it's the best place for him to do good and fulfill his own moral obligations. Shadow has a dark past, but he owns it. He knows shit sucks, but he's still going to nut up and do what's right. A massive character shift that isn't unwelcome. But yeah, Sonic 06 shows a very mature story about Shadow choosing his own decisions and not letting his past or future dictate who he is. Shadow's character in this game is like putting a pit bull in an enclosed room with a baby. The game is not subtle with its metaphors. One of the main shit stirrers in the game is Shadow's shadow, Mephiles the Dark. This alpha gamer tries to give Shadow PTSD the whole game and get him to start his racist arc.
That's the first time one of them has made any sense.
Even showing him a future where he's locked up and punished by the people he's morally obliged to protect. And Shadow doesn't care. In Sonic Adventure 2 we saw him lash out, cry and whinge about his past and his purpose and get manipulated all game. But here, nah. Shadow's incapable of being gaslit. He has his own nightmares forced onto him, and yet through the development of his relationships and the things he actually cares about now, he just exudes coolness. Like actually cool, not just radical 80s cool like Sonic, or edgy Columbine subscribe to PewDiePie cool. No, he's just a very likeable and awesome character. That's right lads, Shadow is the male mental health icon. So why did they make him a girl boss? His subtle character moments are awesome too, like at the end of his story where he's monologuing to his own shadow, willing to unleash his full power to demonstrate that yes, he is a dark character and capable of tremendous destruction, but will always fight for what's right like he always has. He was always a good person, he hasn't changed who he is, and isn't ashamed of his past and will be willing to show what he's capable of, because he's confident he can control himself. He won't kill that baby in that room. He literally takes off his inhibitor rings to show how confident he is that he can control himself. I call that a subtle character moment because this is all shown in about 5 seconds and like 2 lines of dialogue. Other moments are cool too, like him turning away from Sonic in a random background shot when he dies because another important person to him has been killed, something he's justifiably uncomfortable with. He shows genuine care and resolve in a moment that should send him bloody barmy. I did mention Sonic Chronicles and Dark Knight earlier, but there's not much to say about those that hasn't already been said. Hell, one's not even technically Shadow, but these games still show his stoicism and care about the things he is doing. Whether that's boying robots with Sonic in Sonic Chronicles, or being a literal stoic knight of the round table. In all of these games around this time, we just see his cool and confident attitude. So where does Shadow go from here? Well, you're about to see why Shadow fans get so much shit for liking this character. Spoilers, Shadow's autistic now. You've all heard the term flanderization, right? Flanderization is the process through which a complex fictional character's essential traits are oversimplified to the point where they constitute their entire personality, or at least exaggerated, while other traits remain over the course of a serial work. Yeah, Shadow's become a knobhead. Sega must have been like, yeah, Shadow's cool and confident, isn't he? Yeah, let's lean into that and let's make him badass and edgy and make him tell our stupid audience how cool he is, so you'll think he's even cooler. Okay, so they made him an edgy, boastful egotist. Well done, you've made him an autistic League player.
Just how much do you truly hate that hedgehog, Doctor?
Depends on the game, but sometimes the salt levels are so high, I could almost become a professional league player.
I wish I was exaggerating. If you listen to some of his modern dialogue, he literally talks like a league player flaming in all chat. In fact, yeah, let's listen to some. Let's mix them in with some of his Dork and Dark Era quotes and see if you can tell which one is the twat lines.
Maria, I still remember what I promised you. For the people of this planet, I promise you.
No matter how many times you try, you can't win. Enough talking. Let's be done with this.
Shadow the Hedgehog. Why does that name haunt me? It's the only thing I can remember. And that gruesome image.
Hardly impressive. Even you should be able to pull that off.
If the world chooses to become my enemy, I will fight like I always have.
Unlike you blue-haired liberals, I don't have pronouns.
His dialogue is just bad, plain and simple, like they're trying too hard to be funny and edgy. A complete Flanderization like you just heard. It's not even worth going on about that anymore. What about his actual personality and actions maybe? They might do some cool stuff with him, right? Yeah, they took his rashness and impulsiveness from his Dork Era, and merged it with his confidence and no bullshit attitude from his Dark Era, which completely negates all of his character development and makes him come across as an arsehole whose impulsive decisions make him completely unlikable and trigger some of the most avoidable conflicts. Sonic Forces? Yeah, he's the reason the main villain is created. Shadow literally kills the villain's friends before he was even a villain. Killing is something Shadow is supposed to be very uncomfortable with, but he bluntly told this lone survivor that he was worthless and to not show his pathetic face to him again. So this then creates the vengeful villain as they gain power to exact revenge, this time on the whole planet. That's not even the only time Shadow's done something stupid. In the comics, Shadow is responsible for creating a 28 days later scenario when he carelessly got infected by zombies, claiming he would not be infected because he's the ultimate life form. Even Sonic, the one person who has most of his respect, is telling him otherwise. Not only that, he puts his friends from Team Dark in danger, completely out of character, leading to Omega, one of his closest friends, getting destroyed. And now a zombified Shadow is now about to infect the whole world since he's so powerful. It stresses me out because I could keep listing moments, but it would just reaffirm this same point, pissing me off. I keep telling myself that even if they did change him, there's always going to be this stain on his character history. So rather than whinge about it, I'm still in that camp of cherry picking what I like about shit. So Shadow will always remain as the naive dork who matured and gained the audience's respect, so I'll enjoy him for that. As the old Chinese proverb goes, you can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter. Just trying to keep this video short, but I hope you like my analysis of Shadow going from dork to dark to dick. And if you like this video, consider subscribing, it helps me know what content you guys like. Goodbye.